What I was trying to say was how some people are still not able to question things.
Okay, that's very interesting. That's when we get the answer why people don't want to question all these things. That brings us exactly to the whole idea of what religion is. Go ahead, yeah.
I'm going to take what he said before a little bit further, people that want to go out and kill other people because of their religion. What if aliens just landed on the planet and wanted to kill us? Would they do all this killing or anything other people's religions and everything like that?
Well, it has already.
Will they band together and unite as one?
Well, aliens have already landed in the Scientology church, right? That's what. In the Church of Scientology, they believe that aliens have already taken over us, and that it's our job to cleanse our soul using the techniques of Dianetics. Yeah.
I think religions, they manipulate society.
All right. Class, we have a. Go ahead.
I would say that religions, they manipulate society. That's how I see it. As an example, Catholic Church, they have so many things that they're hiding, and they don't want to display it because it might disrupt the whole system.
Okay.
So I think a lot of religions, they do that.
Okay. Very good. You said religion manipulates society, or perhaps the interpreters of religion, or it's a very, very broad statement to make, and it's interesting. We can go on talking about how much what religion is, in fact. It goes back to the question, what is religion, and what does it do to the human mind, and how manipulation comes. All right, quick response, right.
Do you remember before Martin Luther's 95 thesis? Do you remember why he did that?
Because
the church was...
Indulgences, right?
Exactly, that's the word I was looking for, yes. Indulgences. And if you're a heaven believer of God and you're actually paying to go to heaven, what kind of believer are you? What are you believing in? And the crazy thing is that the whole known world at that time was doing this.
This is interesting. To give you the background of it, right?
And there's a lot of people that want to bring my shit.
This is the whole idea. For those of you who knew the whole idea that before Martin Luther started thinking of reforming the Catholic Church because of the idea of indulgences. We know what that means is that if you sin, you confess your sin. If you sin, you have sinned, you've done something wrong, then you can atone your sin, you can pay back and cleanse yourself in that particular aspect of the sin by donating to the church. Whatever you have, money, even if you don't have money, if you have a door or window, then you can give your window pane to the church. Whatever you have.
The real story is that they used to go to houses and do this.
Yeah, but the truth about it is that's not how the Catholics were formed.
Right.
That's not how they were formed. It was just a specific pope who started
Right.
that. So we should really say that.
So this is the thing, all religion and religious leaders are rebels. And those who believe in prophets, all prophets are rebels. They rebel against the society that has evolved into something that is not up to the liking of the prophets. And through God does not like this to happen, and therefore God said, "All right, I'm choosing you to rebel against this. So bring something new." Yes.
I think if there is a God, I think that people corrupted His work and everything too much to the point where it's just ridiculous.
Too many scriptures.
Oh yeah. People try to interpret things way too much and look at things and I guarantee God's probably out there. He's like whatever. Right now probably. There's a lot of because when people that try to interpret my aunt she's to the point where it's oh, you're a sinner and everything like that and when it comes to being homosexual and everything like that Hasidic views and everything like that. It's I don't know.
Okay. All right.
You can find an organized religion that will accept you anywhere. Let's be real. I mean, there are temples for gay. I mean, really, there are temples that accept people that are homosexual. There are churches. I mean, you can find an organized religion that will accept you for who you are.
Well, essentially,
religion.
But in fact, essentially, in America and Western countries, you can even start your own church, right?
It's true.
Get your fundings in order and then start your own church. Yes, guys.
What is the skeptics
Skeptics, okay. The skeptics are those who do not believe in. It is not possible to know anything for certain, right? And the skeptics doubt the truth of religion. They don't believe in the truth of any other religion, right?
It's like
Yeah.
they question the existence of God.
Yes.
And,
And truth. They question the existence of religions. Skeptic is essentially a philosopher. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Something to think. I was reviewing in the computer about the medicine. When people, when they start to study to be a doctor, need around 10 years to have the title to doctor, but they need to have a specialization. It's around 10 or 12 years to have a specialization in one system of organs. The biology shows us we have 11 systems. We need to study around 110 years to understand just the human body.
Mm-hmm.
But this is just material. But it's impossible for the human being to understand God, because God is superior mind. You can reach, you can understand, but you have the ability, the ability to think. You have the ability to reach him or God, just to understand the nature
Okay.
of God. It's spiritual.
So you're saying
it's
that.
impossible to understand the spiritual
Right.
because our mind is limited.
Okay. This is very profound statement, because is it true that do you agree that how can we understand God in this lifetime when we have so many varieties of information, explanation, and knowledge that talks about that, and this is something concerning the not just the nature of God, but also the experience of it. How can one experience from one religion to another, and finally at the end of it, understand that, wow, based on all these comparisons of all these experiences, this is what God is. This is what the truth is, right? Let me just give you the last one, which brings us to very, very close to what we are doing here in terms of religion. Then we've looked at the whole idea of skepticism, agnosticism, atheism, and fundamentally do not believe in the rational mind has to be used in order to understand the question of existence of God. But when we look at the question, the answer given by the believer, and again in this 6 weeks we're going to look at what other people believe in. We're not going to go into detail of what the philosopher thinks, what the skeptic think, what the agnostic think, what the humanist thinks, but we're going to look at what the religious believer thinks, and this is what they say, right? The believer's answer to all this thing, the answer to the question, is there a God, is that, yes, there is a God. Okay? For believers, faith replaces the need for proof of God's existence. For others, various arguments have been made that claim to prove the existence of God. You have to accept that there is God, because how can there be no God when everything is already created? If there's something is already created, the creation of the Edgewater, the Hudson River, the Empire State Building, if all these things are created by human beings, then who creates us? That is the most fundamental question on proof of existence. And they say that, okay, that it was created beginning of time with that God, when God says, let there be light, and there's light, and after that creation of some other things. And from the body becomes flesh, and in any religion there is the whole idea that everything is created and there is a story behind the creation. And when we ask the question, the skeptic would ask the question, do you believe in all these things? Were you there to observe all this thing happening? Were you there to observe that God created the universe in how many days? 6 days? 7 days? And some religions do not even believe in those days. What do all these days mean? It's not in the scriptures. The scripture says that God created from a bubble. Right? a bubble in the ocean, for example, and the bubble becomes something else